November 4th, 2007, Joe Calzaghe unifies the WBC, WBA, and WBO titles by beating Mikhail Kessler via unanimous decision. At the time, the IBF champion was Alejandro Berrio, who won the vacant IBF title that Joe Calzaghe vacated by beating Robert Stiegels. Calzaghe moves up to light heavyweight to fight Bernard Hopkins and Roy Jones, and vacates the three titles, the WBC, WBA, and WBO titles. Carl Froch and Jean-Pascal fight for the vacant WBC title on December 6, 2008 in Nottingham, England. It was a very good, very exciting, action-packed fight. Froch coming out as the winner on points by unanimous decision, becoming the WBC super middleweight champion.
What a fight this is turning out to be. One straying low from Pascal. Chopping right.
June 21st, 2008, Mikhail Kessler beats Dmitry Sartison for the vacant WBA title in Brøndby, Denmark, stopping him in the 12th round, thus becoming the WBA super middleweight champion. On September 27, 2008, Denis Inkin picks up the vacant WBO title by beating Fulgencio Zuniga on points, unanimous decision, becoming the WBO champion. October 19, 2007, Lucian Bute stops Alejandro Berrio in the 11th round in Montreal, Canada, and becomes the new IBF super middleweight champion. So this is the time when Showtime organizes the Super 6 tournament, which lasted from 2009 to 2011. And the goal was to unify the super middleweight division and determine who the best in the division is. To quickly explain the structure of the tournament, we have group stage, semifinals, and then a final. First title fight in the tournament, October 17, 2009, Carl Froch defends his WBC title against Andre Jarrell in Nottingham, England, and he wins by split decision. It was a very controversial fight. I thought Andre Jarrell beat Carl Froch. I thought he schooled him, okay?
Tricky round because of that point deduction. Nice left hand again. He hurt Froch. Froch is hurt. Jarrell uppercut. Froch can't take advantage while he's doing it. Oh, look at the head movement. Wow! And he comes up with a left hand. Keeps sticking his tongue out at us. Uppercut, left hand. Froch hurt again. Froch is in trouble. Now he'll hold on.
Second title fight in the tournament, November 21st, 2009. Mikhail Kessler defends his WBA title against Andre Ward in Oakland, California. And it was a very ugly fight. A lot of holding and a lot of headbutts from Andre Ward. You know what I'm saying? In the early rounds, the fight was good, but, later it just became uglier and uglier. You know what I'm saying? And the fight was stopped in the 11th round, due to headbutts. And Andre Ward wins a technical decision, becoming the WBA super middleweight champion. In the meantime, in Germany, on January 10, 2009, Denis Inkin loses his WBO title to Karoly Baljai by 12th round unanimous decision. So Baljai becomes the new WBO super middleweight champion. On April 17, 2010, the IBF champion Lucian Bute defends his title for the 5th time, stopping Edison Miranda in the 3rd round. Third title fight in the Super 6 tournament, April 24, 2010, Carl Froch defends his WBC title against Mikhail Kessler in Denmark, And it was a very good fight, back and forth, action-packed fight. Kessler outboxes Carl Froch and wins on points, unanimous decision, becoming the new WBC super middleweight champion. On June 19, 2010, the WBA champion Andre Ward defends his title against Alan Green in Oakland, California, winning by unanimous decision. It was a very good fight, very good boxing from Andre Ward. He schooled and dominated Alan Green. On August 22nd, 2009, Karoli Baljai loses his WBO title to Robert Stiegels. He gets stopped in the 11th round, so Stiegels becomes the new WBO super middleweight champion. So we are in the last couple of phases of the Super 6 tournament. The WBC champion Mikkel Kessler gets stripped of the title because of the eye injury that he sustained in the Andre Ward fight. So the title becomes vacant. Now, Arthur Abraham and Carl Froch fight for the vacant WBC title on November 27, 2010 in Helsinki, Finland. And Froch beats Abraham, so he becomes the new WBC super middleweight champion. It was a very good fight. November 20th, 2010, the WBO champion Robert Stiegels makes his third defense of his title against Enrique Ornelas, beating him by unanimous decision. And still, the reigning defending IBF super middleweight champion Lucien Bute makes his seventh defense of the title, knocking out Brian McGee in the 10th round. The long-awaited final of the Super 6 tournament happens between the WBA champion Andre Ward and the WBC champion Carl Froch in Atlantic City, New Jersey. And Ward schools Carl Froch, winning by unanimous decision. It was a very, very good fight, very exciting fight.
The first scrappy round of the fight. Quality shots there from Ward.
It's been a stellar performance so far from Andre Ward, and of the unconventional with these
pushing Ward back, but Ward is comfortable on the back foot, trying the power shot straight away.
This is proving a very, very tough night indeed.
But
Andre S.O.G.
And still, the reigning defending IBF super middleweight champion Lucien Bute makes his ninth defense of the title, beating the Road Warrior Glenn Johnson on points. After Andre Ward wins the Super 6 tournament, he defends his titles against Chad Dawson, who comes down from light heavyweight to super middleweight to fight Ward, on September 8, 2012 in Oakland. And it was just a very, very good fight. I thought Andre Ward dominated the fight, dropped Ward 3 times and, stops him in the 10th round. And also it was just a very sad fight because, Chad Dawson made a very, very stupid decision. Why move down, man? Why?
Ward created his own opportunities time and again. I think it was off the top of the head that started the trouble there with the left hand. Not sure that it was the neck where he caught him. Hard to tell. I think it was on the chin and then on the ear.
And still, the WBO super middleweight champion, Robert Stiegels, defends his title against Arthur Abraham on August 25th, 2012. And Arthur Abraham beats Stiegels on points unanimous decision, becoming the new WBO super middleweight champion. Okay, and this fight kicks off their 4-fight rivalry. Amazing fights. These guys had 4 amazing fights. Action-packed fights. The fight happens in Nottingham on March 26, 2012, and Carl Froch destroys Lucian Bute, stops him in the 5th round, becoming the new IBF super middleweight champion.
Extraordinary. Forest fire, isn't it? That's what we've got here. Oh, it's that right hand! The referee might have stepped there. It's more. He stopped it. He's got a shot.
Takes it down. It's all over.
It's over. Carl Froch once, twice,
After Andre Ward beats Chad Dawson, he goes on to have 14 months of inactivity. So the WBC strips Andre Ward of the title on March 2013. So the WBC title becomes vacant. It's fought between Saki Obika and Marco Antonio Periban. Saki Obika beats Periban on points, majority decision, becoming the new WBC super middleweight champion. The WBO champion Arthur Abraham defends his title one time before facing Robert Stiegels in their second fight on March 23rd, 2013. This time, he gets stopped in the 4th round. So, Stiegels becomes the new WBO super middleweight champion for the second time. The reigning defending IBF super middleweight champion Carl Froch makes his second defense of his title against Michael Kessler in their second fight in Greenwich, England, this time beating Michael Kessler on points, unanimous decision. The WBC champion Saki Obika loses his first title defense against Andre Durrell on August 16th, 2014 in Brooklyn, New York, on points, unanimous decision. So Andre Durrell becomes the new WBC super middleweight champion. The WBA champion, Andre Ward, comes back after 14 months of inactivity to defend his title against Edwin Rodriguez on November 16, 2013 in Ontario, Florida, winning by unanimous decision. Over in Germany, Robert Stiegels and Arthur Abraham continue their rivalry with their third fight on March 1st, 2014. This time, Arthur Abraham winning on a split decision victory, knocking down Stiegels in the 12th round and becoming the new WBO super middleweight champion for the second time. And still, the reigning defending IBF super middleweight champion Carl Froch defends his title against George Groves for the second time because their first fight was very controversial. The referee stopped it at a very, very bad time. And I thought, Groves would have, schooled Carl Froch, but, whatever. In their second fight on March 31st, 2014, they fight in Manchester. This time, Carl Froch stops George Groves in the 4th round. On April 25th, 2015, the WBC champion Andre Durrell loses his title to Badou Jack on points, majority decision in Chicago, Illinois, and Badou Jack becomes the new WBC super middleweight champion. After defending the WBA title 6 times, Andre Ward vacates his title on November 12th, 2015 and moves up to light heavyweight. The vacant WBA title is fought between Fedor Chudinov and middleweight legend Felix Sturm in Germany On March 9, 2015, Chudunov beats Sturm on points to become the new WBA super middleweight champion. In his second reign as WBO champion and in his second defense of the title, Arthur Abraham loses to Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez on November 21st, 2015 in Las Vegas on points unanimous decision. Zurdo Ramirez becomes the new WBO super middleweight champion.
So there's still time for Abraham. Andre Ward.
The long-reigning IBF super middleweight champion Carl Froch vacates his belt, retiring a while after that. The vacant belt is fought between Andre Durrell and James DeGale on March 23, 2015 in Boston, Massachusetts. DeGale comes out as the winner on points unanimous decision, becoming the new IBF super middleweight champion. The WBC champion, Badou Jack, vacates his belt and moves up to light heavyweight. So, the vacant belt is fought between Ronald Gavriel and David Benavidez on September 8th, 2017. David Benavidez wins by split decision. It was a very close fight. It was a very good fight. I really thought David Benavidez lost this fight, okay? He was doing nothing in there. You know what I'm saying? He was getting beat. Like, yeah, of course, he was hurting the guy. Sometimes he hurt him, but he was getting outboxed and he was getting outlanded. Okay? He was getting hit with jabs to the body all the time. I don't know what was wrong with David Benavidez at the time, but I thought he lost this fight.
He's got there with an uppercut.
Landed, but not the same power, not being as effective. He's beating him. Gavri's beating him to the.
It's a close round. Yeah, it is. A lot of activity, but not much going on for Benavidez. 4-punch, 5. And there's a left hand from Gavriel, and it drops Benavidez.
David Benavidez.
Over in Germany, the reigning WBA champion, Fedor Chudunov, defends his belt against Felix Sturm in their second fight, this time Sturm beating Chudunov on points unanimous decision on February 20, 2016, becoming the new WBA super middleweight champion. The reigning defending WBO super middleweight champion, Gilberto Ramirez, Zurdo, defends his title for the 5th time against Jesse Hart in Tucson, Arizona on December 14, 2018. It was a very good fight, good performance from Zurdo Ramirez. He dominated Hart, dropped him in the second round, you know. It was just a beautiful fight, you know what I'm saying? On December 9, 2017, the reigning IBF super middleweight champion, James DeGale, puts his title in his 4th defense on the line against Caleb Truax in London. James DeGale loses the fight. Truax wins on points unanimous decision, becoming the new IBF super middleweight champion. The newly crowned young reigning WBC super middleweight champion, David Benavidez, fails a drug test and he gets stripped of the title. The vacant WBC title is fought between Andre Durrell, the former champion, and Avni Yildirim on February 23, 2019 in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Andre Durrell beats Avni Yildirim on points split decision, becoming the new WBC super middleweight champion for the 2nd time. the former middleweight legend and the reigning WBA super middleweight champion Felix Sturm vacates his title on October 5th, 2016. So the vacant WBA super middleweight title is fought between Fedor Chudinov, the former champion, and George Groves on March 27th, 2017 in Sheffield, England. George Groves stops Chudinov in the 6th round, becoming the new WBA super middleweight champion.
So close. A minute 50 left in the round, and Groves has got his dream. Finally, he becomes a world champion.
Saint George Groves.
So the reigning WBO super middleweight champion, Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez, vacates the belt and moves up to light heavyweight. So the vacant belt is fought between Billy Joe Saunders and Shefat Isufi on May 18, 2019 in Stevenage, England. Billy Joe Saunders beats Isufi on points unanimous decision, becoming the new WBO super middleweight champion. On April 7, 2018, the reigning IBF super middleweight champion Caleb Truax puts his belt on the line against the former champion James DeGale in their second fight in Las Vegas. This time, James DeGale beats Truax on points unanimous decision, becoming the new IBF super middleweight champion for the second time. On September 28, 2019, the reigning WBC champion Anthony Durrell puts his title on the line against David Benavidez and gets stopped in the 9th round. He gets dominated, you know what I'm saying? It was a very exciting fight, actually. So David Benavidez becomes the new WBC super middleweight champion for the second time. In the World Boxing Super Series, the reigning WBA champion George Groves puts his title on the line against Callum Smith on September 28, 2018 in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, and he gets stopped in the 7th round. So Callum Smith becomes the new WBA super middleweight champion. The WBO champion Billy Joe Saunders defends his title for the second time against Martin Murray on December 1st, 2020 in the UK, winning on points unanimous decision. The vacant IBF title is fought between Caleb Plant and Jose Uzcategui. Uzcategui, that's a beautiful name. I like to say that. Uzcategui. Okay, that's just cool name. On January 13th, 2019, Caleb Plant wins the fight on points unanimous decision, becoming the new IBF super middleweight champion. August 14th, 2020, the reigning WBC champion David Benavidez misses weight for his fight against Alexis Angulo. He comes in at 170 instead of 168, so he gets stripped of the title. September 19th, 2020, the WBC belt is on the line in the fight between Saul Canelo Alvarez and Callum Smith, who's the WBA champion, by the way, in San Antonio, Texas. Canelo Alvarez dominates, schools Callum Smith to become the new unified WBC WBA super middleweight champion.
I don't fear the fight. Able to stand up to it. Shots throughout this fight from Canelo. That's why the fans are looking at that. You can't blame him. Hard-cutting right-handed.
In his next fight, Canelo Alvarez goes after the WBO champion, Billy Joe Saunders, and they fight on May 8th, 2021 in Arlington, Texas. And Canelo Alvarez destroys, dominates, stops Billy Joe Saunders and becomes the unified WBC, WBA, WBO super middleweight champion. November 6, 2021, Canelo Alvarez stops Caleb Plant in the 11th round to become the undisputed super middleweight champion, the first undisputed super middleweight champion in history. Quickly, let's mention Canelo defending the undisputed titles. September 17, 2022, defense against Triple G in Paradise, Nevada. May 6, 2023, against John Ryder in Jalisco, Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico. September 30, 2023, against Jermel Charlo. March 4th, 2024, against Jaime Munguia. Canelo Alvarez gets stripped of the IBF super middleweight title. And on October 19th, 2024, the vacant title is fought between William Skoll and Vladimir Shishkin. I thought Shishkin won. In Germany, Skoll becomes the new IBF super middleweight champion. Canelo defends his 3 remaining titles, WBC, WBA, and WBO, against Berlanga in Las Vegas on September 14, 2024. May 3rd, 2025, Canelo Alvarez beats William Skoll and becomes undisputed super middleweight champion for the second time. This is the picture of the super middleweight division right now. We don't know what's going to happen in the Canelo Crawford fight. Maybe Crawford, can be the next in line. We'll see what happens, you know what I'm saying?